All right, I'm going to stop stalling and we are going to get started. I am excited today to have Jonathan Bowser, who's our head of infrastructure. He's going to show us how to store documents in DESTINI Estimator in the hosted environment. So whether you are actually using the hosted environment today or it's something that you are interested in possibly moving over to, this is going to be a great example of how do we store documents in that platform. So John, I'm going to give you presentation rights and we can get started.
Thank you, Julie. I want to thank everybody for being here and taking a few minutes out of your day to check out what we're doing today in the hosted environment. Before I get going on the hosted environment and what we're doing now with file storage, I wanted to take a couple of minutes and introduce the hosted environment to those of you who are new to it and aren't actually in there today. So the hosted environment, it is completely cloud-based, so you don't have to have anything deployed on your machine, and that is one of the great advantages of this cloud offering, this hosted environment, is that simple deployment. All you really need to access Estimator in the hosted environment is a web browser. We do recommend Microsoft's remote desktop app for a more rich experience, but that makes the deployment super simple and easy to get into. Another benefit of this hosted environment is because we're hosting it, it stays up to date. You don't have to worry about deploying patches, rolling out upgrades, making sure all of your estimators are in the office or connected to their VPN to make sure these updates happen. We take care of that for you. Everybody gets the update all at the same time, and it allows you to just not worry about it and just trust that it's always running the latest and greatest features and enhancements. Because it's also virtualized, there's no longer a need for VPN. Everything's in the cloud. So when you're running Estimator through the hosted environment, you don't need to be on VPN to access your drawings or your images or your reports. It's all within Estimator in the cloud. And being in the cloud, it is easier for us to support you when you come to us needing help on a project. Being hosted, our team is closer to the environment, and so they're able to react faster and get you going when you do have questions and challenges. And last, it is a secured environment. Your data, your projects aren't exposed to the outside world, and the data itself is protected by both the login and multi-factor authentication to prevent people from inadvertently getting access to it or malicious access. So that's just a real high-level rundown of some of the benefits of the hosted environment. So with that, I'm going to jump right into the file storage and then accessing those documents within the hosted environment. So if you're a hosted environment user today, you have access to this already. If you didn't know you had access to it, I'm going to show you how. Prior to this enhancement we made, it was really difficult to navigate your local machine to pull in your drawings, pull in your reports. It was great that we could leverage the power of the cloud and the internet to give you easy access to those files on your machine, but it could be challenging and a little bit slow when you really wanted to get going. So we have expanded the ability to actually store those documents in the hosted environment. And getting those documents in there is pretty straightforward. So I'm going to show two different examples, the two most common touch points people have with the files, and that's around reporting and around their 2D takeoff. So I'm going to jump right into takeoff. It's pretty easy to get my drawings now into Estimator. I'm going to go into load, and I'm going to load a PDF or image. The first thing you'll see when you get your open model window is here on your left-hand side, there's now a drive mapped Z. Every user logged into hosted will have this Z drive. This drive is actually shared amongst everybody within an organization. So for me in Beck Tech, everyone in Beck Tech sees the same Z drive. Our other clients get their own Z drive, so you're not having to worry about who can see my data. It's all isolated and specific to the individual clients. So once I'm in here, I'm gonna grab my PDF. I'm gonna come to my PDFs folder, and I'm just going to paste it in here. That paste, I've copied it from my desktop and I've pasted it into my virtual environment. That's effectively uploaded that drawing, and it's now in the hosted environment for me to access as well as anybody on my team to access as well. And from here, I can just hit open, and it'll load that drawing up as if it were on my local machine. And that's really all there is to getting that drawing into the hosted environment and then loading it into Estimator. Reports really aren't any different. So if I go to my home ribbon, I can see right now I've got a couple of reports in my dropdown, but I can go through the same exercise to get my reports into the hosted environment. So I'm gonna hit find and run report. I've actually got a folder already for my reports. So I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna upload a sample report into hosted using the same copy and paste approach. So I've copied my report, I'm in here and I hit paste, and that's uploading my report now into the hosted environment. So from here, I can do one of two things. I can open the report from here and say go, and it'll run the report, pull in the estimate data and show it to me. Or from my reports menu, it now shows up there. I can run it straight from the reports menu as well. And again, it'll run the report, pull the data from the estimate, and I can see it right here. Those are the two most common ways that people want to access files inside of Estimator. And by getting them into that Z drive, that storage that's for your entire company, it's just so much easier to access that information and share it across your entire team. And that's pretty much it for the hosted documents. There's not a whole lot to it. It's just a simple copy and paste from your desktop or anywhere on your computer and paste it into Estimator to give you quick access to it. So with that, Julia, I'd like to open up for any questions people may have.
Excellent. And I do want to remind folks, you can submit your questions through the GoToWebinar desktop feature there on your screen. John, I did want to ask, you know, it looked like you were directly linked to that Z drive. If a company has multiple projects going on, can you, I saw that how you had PDFs and reports folders. Can you have individual folders for every project that you are working on?
Yes, so that folder is, and that drive is really for the client to use as they need. So they can add whatever structure that fits their business needs.
Excellent. And then that Z drive, is that something that a customer's IT department needs to go in and set up, or is that something that Beck Technology helps create?
So it's set up automatically when we get a client into the hosted environment. So there's nothing that the client's IT group needs to do. There's nothing that the users need to do. The only thing they'll do is if they want to add folders and upload files, you know, add folders and upload files as they need.
Excellent. Can you set permissions on folders within that Z drive?
Currently, no. As we transition into the web, permissioning will be more core to Estimator as a platform, and you'll have more control that way. But today in the hosted environment, we don't have that ability just yet.
And is there a storage limit for that Z drive?
Currently, we're not imposing a limit. Storage is relatively inexpensive when it comes to the cloud in general. But as we stay on top of the environment and we optimize it for our clients, we will react accordingly and work with our clients as necessary.
Fantastic. All right, well, I don't have any other questions that have come in. I do want to let everyone know this recording is going to be sent to everyone, so look for it in your inbox. It'll come from info@beck-technology.com, and you should be getting that later today. You'll also be able to find this recording on our community, and that is community.beck-technology.com. All right, John, thank you so much for showing us how to store documents in the hosted environment. And everyone else, thanks for joining us to see the latest and greatest that is coming from Beck Technology.
Thank you all.